anything? Is there anything you can tell us about how your team's going to be looking next year?
Nothing today. I think that I think I know that Mike and his team are working hard up there in the suite and trying to improve our club, and I think we're all excited about next year, and I know Mike is working hard on adding quality people to our team.
Looking forward to having Chirinos and stuff.
Yeah, Robbie. It's going to be Robbie's first coaching experience, and he's been in the big leagues for so long, and he's done so many great things. I had the pleasure of managing him a few years ago, and I think Robbie's going to be an excellent coach. He was already a coach as a player there toward the end of his career. Unbelievable with young players, great perspective of the game. Really helped change the culture for us a couple of years ago, and I'm really excited about adding him. I don't remember talking about it with him during that season because we were playing and trying to get to the playoffs that year. I think once he retired, we've seen him a couple times a year, and I know he's expressed interest to getting into coaching. We talked a little bit about that, and then this offseason we talked a lot.
A lot of coaching changes this offseason. Guys promoted and bringing in some new faces, new pieces. Did you feel like after the season ended that you did need some new blood, some new ideas coming in?
I think you're always looking to improve, whether that's roster-wise or coaching staff-wise. I think that there's some guys that were on our staff that are getting some great opportunities. So I'm excited for them, and it's part of the business, part of the game. There's coaching changes, sometimes guys move and change organizations, but the guys that were on our staff that went to different organizations that did an amazing job for us, I'm really excited for them and their families and the new jobs that they have.
Do you expect Felix Bautista to be your opening day closer next year? And do you feel like he's given the same kind of workload as he's had?
I think we're going to have to wait and see with all that. Felix, when he threw it there at the end of the year, sometime in October was the end of his rehab. He was throwing the ball extremely well. He's coming off of Tommy John, so he hasn't pitched in a real game in over a year, and so it's going to be we're going to handle it a little bit differently. I think we're going to be very, very careful with him early on, seeing what his stuff looks like in spring training. I'm expecting for him to look like Felix again, but knowing kind of what he's been through for the last year plus, and wanting to try to keep him as healthy as possible for this next year, we're gonna be communicating constantly with him, and probably especially early on, be really conservative with him. Yeah, I'm excited to add Buck to the staff. I think he's done a really good job in AAA with development of a lot of the players that are on our roster right now. He's very well liked. He's got great energy. He's going to do a little bit of everything. He's going to help out in a lot of different ways, with helping Manzanita with the infielders, being an extra set of eyes and ears on our coaching staff. First year in the big leagues, I know it's going to be. It's always it's an incredible experience to break in and be on a major league staff, and he's earned it. He's done a great job in AAA.
The way that the offense performed last season, especially in the second half, a lot of the questions that we asked you were about the offense. The second half. Do you expect any changes to the offensive philosophy? What's said from the hitting coaches to your hitters going into next season?
Yeah, we're gonna. I think we're gonna have some meetings on that going forward a little bit. We're getting the hitting coaches together. We scored a ton of runs, especially the first half, and a lot of that came from homers and slug. We had some guys with their walk totals that were down from the normal years. I think you're going to see that go back up. We still believe in creating runs with our speed and contact, but also we have the ability to hit a home run. And so, if you look at our lineup, it's not a ton of experience in there, and I think that as guys get year after year, I think that they're going to continue to improve. we also were injury plagued a little bit the second half as well. I think losing Westberg and even in Mateo with his run scoring ability, that those two guys, losing those two guys, right-handed bats, lost some versatility on the team, but also Westy was arguably our best RBI guy in the first half, and the ability to hit the ball to all fields. So hopefully we can stay a little more healthy next year.
You saw the jump to Calvary. You took the 23 to 24. You look at the guys like Holiday and Mayo, and they've got a taste of kind of following the footsteps.
Yeah, I've talked a lot about that the last couple of years because we've had so many guys make their debuts, and what's normal is for guys to struggle a little bit early, to maybe go back down to AAA or get a little bit of a reset and understand what the major league life is like, as well as the speed of the game. And you saw what Cowser did last year. Cowser's only going to be better next year. I think that there's sometimes adversity is not a terrible thing, and you got to learn how to deal with it and understand how hard this game is and how good major league pitching is. Adjustments you have to make, and so once guys get a little bit of taste and they have the ability to make the adjustments, guys are going to improve.
We asked you about this when the season ended, but as you've had some time to reflect, was anything stood out to you about Adley's second half and maybe why he went into this?
Well, I think Adley's, even though you still have to remember that he's still early on in his career, and that was really the first offensive adversity that he has had. I looked for Adley to have a big year next year. Looked to Adley to get off to a good start. I think Adley's in a great place right now, physically and mentally. I think he's going to come into camp really, really driven. And we've had conversations this offseason. He's got a great plan in place for being ready in spring training, like he always is. But yeah, last year he was very disappointed in the second half. It was tough, and I think he's going to be better for it. Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Between the end of last season and now, you've had more time to reflect. Do you feel like there's some things you take away that you and your coaching staff did well, and there's some stuff that maybe you wish you would have done differently?
Well, I wish we would have done a little bit better in the postseason. We had a tough time scoring runs those two games. I just want us to continue. I think as long as we keep getting in the postseason, continue to get our young players better. Continue to add pieces that's going to help our team. I like the direction we're going in. We've had 2 successful years, and I think we're still in a really, really good place organizationally to have that continue, and just want to see that continue.
After those 2 disappointing postseasons, do you feel that pressure this year?
No. I mean, I think you always put pressure on yourself. Very disappointed in how the season ended, just like I was the year before. Whenever you don't reach your goal, it's disappointing. So it's the pressure is more of internal of trying to take the next step and carry this group into a deeper run into the postseason.
Rubenstein said he'd like to see the effort speeded up to get to a World Series. I mean, has that message gone down to your level?
I think that there's 30 teams trying to get to be, only one team is there at the end of the year, and I think we're doing everything we can to try to be in that position. The postseasons have not gone well the last 2 years. Hoping it goes well, but hoping we can get a chance to go well to get there again next year. We have a long way to go still. I'm looking forward to taking the journey there with this group again. But our division's only getting tougher, and there's a lot of things that could still happen.
First winter under the new ownership group, does anything feel meaningfully different right now than it did this time a year ago? For your specific experience?
Just feel like there's it's still, when the new ownership group came on to start the year last year, there definitely was a little bit of a kickstart. I think there was you saw when put David's face up on the Jumbotron at Camden Yards, the big applause by the crowd, and you felt that. I think I'm still continuing to feel that. There's a breath of fresh air a little bit of everybody's uplifted. These guys are, they've been incredible to us and very uplifting, and have really invested in our team and want to know what's going on, and so it's it's been extremely positive so far.
The new wall being brought in, I know Mike said that he talked to people about it, and I assume that you were recommending that. What players do you think might benefit from?
Yeah, I think, well, all of the players offensively. I think what doesn't get talked about is our left-handed hitters and the left-handed power that some of our guys have to all fields, and the ability to drive the ball out the other way, and really to do everything right on a pitch, and to drive it into left center, and to not get rewarded. I thought you saw a lot of guys were disappointed in that the last couple of years. As our offense continues to grow, and we're still trying to use the whole field, our lefties have the ability to drive the ball from pole to pole. And I think now, even though they're moving in a little bit, they're in the gap. I think that it's going to be more rewarding for them.
Do you think the guy who seems to be the most disappointed recently has been Ryan Mountcastle? Do you think that you'll see a rejuvenated Mountcastle across the
Yeah, I talked to Mountie yesterday. He's in a great place. He's really excited about next year. I think Mountie's got the ability to really hit, and I don't think he has reached his potential at all. I think that he's got the ability to really be a force offensively, and he's shown signs of that over his first few years. And maybe the moving the wall in a little bit will rejuvenate him a little bit. But I look for a big year out of Mountie.
Rotation. Mike said yesterday that he's pretty happy with the amount of options that you guys do have for the starting rotation. How would you assess the way that it looks right now before anything happens this winter? What you guys have in the starting rotation?
Yeah, I mean, we lost Grayson second half too last year, so it was a good first half, kind of a rough second half. A lot of things went into that second half. Losing Grayson was one of those. So I'm excited about him. I talked to him yesterday also. He's ready to go. He feels awesome. I thought Dean Kramer took a huge step last year, huge step forward, adding the split finger, really being a solid major league starter. Could see him improve even more than that. Zach Eflin was a huge pickup for us at the deadline. It was incredible for us down the stretch. Brings so much professionalism and personality to our team. Love having him. I'm excited about him next year. And you talk about guys like Albert Suarez and Cade Povich, what Albert did for us last year, and what Cade could be, and Cade showing signs of being a really good left-handed starter in this league. So I know we're not done. Only day 3 of the winter meetings, day 2 or day 3 of the winter meetings. A lot of off-season left. I know Mike's trying to really improve that part of our team, but really like the guys that we have in place right now.
In your first 5 years, you didn't have a traditional ace, 200 inning type of guy. And then you had that
Burns last year.
With Burns, and you had that luxury. Would it be difficult for you and for the team to not have a pitcher like that at top of the rotation? Even though you do have the depth and you do like more guys, if you don't have that versatility, would that be difficult?
I think ideally you'd love to have that, and there's 30 teams that would love to have it, but there's only so many of those type of guys out there. And I think you have to, if you don't have that true number one type of guy, you have guys that can improve also. I think Grayson's got number one stuff. Grayson could be that guy. Maybe the next year he takes that next step forward. I look for him to take a big step forward next year. So yeah, we need to pick up the pieces for those 33 awesome starts that Burns gave us and what he brought to our team, and continue to see what happens here the rest of the offseason with what we bring in. He's full go.
We were talking to Mike yesterday about Mateo, and do you see him playing a lot more outfield and being more of a super utility guy?
Yeah, that was something we talked about with him in spring training. That was a possibility of last year, and he was all for it. With Jackson kind of having a kind of rough start a little bit early, Georgie was playing a little bit more second base. We optioned Jackson down last year. We'll see what happens this year. Losing Georgie last year was was a huge loss for us. Just the versatility and the ability to score runs and the speed on the bases. Our stolen base numbers went way down. We weren't as exciting on the bases, and he brings that different element that we didn't have. Losing that really cost us, as well as the versatility defensively. So I could see Georgie doing a number of different things for us next year.
Is it your plan or your hope that Jackson Holiday is your starting second baseman on opening day, and you can just let him go and just play almost every day?
Yeah, I'm not writing it in, but I'm definitely keeping the options open and talked to him yesterday as well. He feels great. He loves the swing adjustments he made. He's in a great place physically. And he was really excited to go in spring training. So he's going to get every opportunity. He's going to get as many at-bats as possible. Love the defensive work he's done also. He made huge strides defensively there for us. Tough in your first year, change of position, 20 years old, trying to hit in the big leagues. And I thought he handled everything extremely well last year. I think it's just going to benefit from it.
I know nothing's official yet, but how much would you miss having both Santander and Buchanan?
Yeah. Nothing is official yet, but if we didn't have Santander, very soft spot for me. Somebody I care about a lot and gone through a lot for the last 6 years. Watch a guy grow from this young player with a lot of tools to put himself in this position. So proud of him, honestly, to put himself in this position to get to free agency, to get a big deal. To have people, there's a lot of teams that would love to have Anthony Santander. So for him to put himself in that position, very, very proud of him. James McCann brought a lot of leadership for our team last year. A guy that with a team that didn't have a ton of guys with a lot of experience, a 10-year vet, a guy that showed a lot of toughness. There's the famous hit by pitch, and to be able to stay in the game, just to show what kind of person and player and teammate he is. He brought a lot to the table the last 2 years.
Some younger players to step up into those leadership roles. If you lose some of these guys, you're losing Burns, who's a lead by example type of guy, Anthony Santander, with vibes, and McCann, a true leader that just says, do you need some of these younger players to step up into those leadership?
Well, we'll see what the roster looks like. I mean, we're still really early, so we'll see if we bring in other veteran pieces or we don't. And if we don't, I do feel like some of our young guys are ready for that. And definitely talented enough, and I think that those last two successful years, regular season wise, and 2 disappointing postseasons, they're ready to take that next step. And we have a lot of guys in that room that definitely have big time leadership capabilities.
When it comes to Gunnar, we ask people about him all the time. We have to say, how much else you can say. We'll see if we can. He had an MVP caliber season. In most other years, he might have won the award if it weren't for somebody like Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt this year. Does it excite you when you look back on the start to his career that he still has more room to grow and he can even get better like he was this past year?
It's pretty scary, honestly. He's so driven right now. The competitiveness, how badly he wants to be great, how badly he wants to be an awesome leader on a championship team. Those are the things that impress me so much about him. And those are the ways he can grow. Just because he's so young, there's other things that he's going to be able to do as he goes on, just from experience, and to be able to carry guys along with him. Those are the things I'm going to look for him, to see him really grow in the next couple of years.
In your experience, is that the common thread between truly great elite players is the drive to not just be good, not just be great, but to truly be one of the best players can be?
Yeah, they're just made a little bit differently, and there's no satisfaction. You see when he doesn't do something well, there's a little bit of emotion behind it, because he doesn't think that he should ever make a mistake, and that's what drives him the most, and that's why he is such a good player.
You lean heavily on Danny Coulombe and Jacob Webb in the past 2 years. Those guys aren't back. Will it be challenging to find other guys to fill those roles?
Well, one thing we've done really well the last 3 years is find bullpen pieces and pitch out of the bullpen. And even with losing Felix last year and kind of having an injury, tough year for us on the injury front, done a pretty good job out of the pen. So love both those guys. Those guys did. Those were two big losses for us last year too. We talk about that second half. Not having those two guys was a huge part of that 6th, 7th inning. Two guys that were able to get both sides out. That cost us, that hurt us. But we've done a really good job, and Mike's done a great job in the front office of finding bullpen pieces that help us.
Yeah, bullpen question. Is when AJ was here earlier, I was asking him about the value that Tyler Holton brought, and AJ talked about how he filled every role in the bullpen, that he thinks he pitched every inning, and even bullpen. Do you have anybody on your staff who can play that position that way, or are there really any other pitchers in baseball who can?
To pitch in every inning?
Be comfortable to come in any role in any situation and not just be locked into a specific role.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I think that AJ kind of ran out of starters, so that's why Tyler had to open quite a few games, and they were very creative in how they used them. I think if you don't have 5 guys in your rotation, you need to be creative, and Detroit and AJ did a great job of that the last 2 months of the season. But yeah, I think that the strike throwing ability, I think you have to be able to get both sides out. Maybe Danny Coulomb 5 years ago would have been that type of guy, just from a durability. You have to be durable also. But yeah, it's very valuable to have guys that can be versatile like that.
Is it mentality as well as physical ability?
Is it
the mentality to be willing to go out and do, not knowing when you're going to hit?
Yeah, that's definitely it's when you're in the bullpen. I think it's a little bit easier when you kind of know your role and you know when the manager's normally going to use you. I think when you're in a situation where, like in a playoff type of game or in a game where you don't have a true starter and all hands are on deck, and the ability to get ready quick is it's not easy to find, but there's guys out there. Thanks, guys.